Hi, everybody. Welcome to What You Need to Know. I am Sybil Wilkes, and it is Wednesday, and my friends are here, Myra J and Stephen Hill. Hello.
What's happening? How you doing?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
Feeling great.
I am too.
Good.
It's been a tremendous, let's just call it 24 hours, if
Oh,
not
for God's
more.
sake.
Um,
That was every family has one.
yeah,
Welcome to the
yeah,
families.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And he's becoming more like our other family member that is a little on this staff side. It's been a really tremendous day. We had a great broadcast last night,
Yes, you
uh,
did.
in
Yes.
which we were able to create some history amongst our leading black leaders, and especially those who are the presidents of the Divine Nine, the black fraternities and sororities that are so important to our community. And so I'd like to thank them again for being a part of that historic occasion in which we were able to talk about their 9 points of action in which they are going to take a strong stand over the next 7 weeks. 7 weeks from yesterday was November 3rd. And so now we are less than 7 weeks out from the general election. We talked about everything. We talked about early voting. We talked about the mail in ballot. We talked about getting people to work the polls, what that looks like, the ballot, what to expect, and not just going in. And if you are not just wanting to vote for president and you think that anything else does not apply to your life, then definitely I'm sorry, but there needs to be some education there in
Yes.
terms of those offices that really have a day to day application to your life to engender and to encourage greater happiness and productivity in your life from somebody who is around the corner as opposed to somebody who is across the country. And would also like to thank some other people who were a very big part of this, and from uh, well, definitely. Some more people we did not get a chance to talk and thank last night. Kennedy Barnes, Esquire, and a good Sigma man, as well as Darcel and Wayne Alford of Alford Media. They did all of the great video work,
Okay.
and it was just it was a great time, and I hope that people who watched yesterday for the first time are coming back and watching us and seeing what we do on the normal Monday through Thursday with the What You Need to Know newsletter, and talking about the issues that are out there and that are in our newsletter each day. So, if you would like to subscribe to the What You Need to Know newsletter, please go to sybilwilkes.com, and we can make that happen for you in short order. Give us your name and your email address, and we will have that for you in your email box as Myra and Steve know. First thing Monday through Friday morning.
Yes, yes,
For
I do. I read it in the morning.
for
Oh, yeah.
some people, it is there before they get up in the morning. For some people, like Myra J, who gets up just after the sun has gone down. um, that's how early it seems that she gets up. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's there first thing in the morning.
Well, for
So
some of us, Sybil, it's the last thing we read before we go to bed.
oh, there
And
you go.
what I mean, like that mornings, like when it comes out at
Yeah,
5 o'clock in the morning, I
yeah.
kind of read it,
Hmm.
and then I go to bed for the night.
And so that's just
Hmm.
a little light reading for you. Is that what you're
Mm,
saying?
well,
Hmm.
foggy given the amount of vodka, but that's another story.
Speaking of which, you have been busy on Instagram these last, well, few months, but
Yes.
definitely this last week. And so
No.
we will talk about the Steves and also your Instagram lives
Yep.
and talking about because I really want to get Myra's perspective on this. And so we'll talk about the verses as well as the
Oh,
pre and post show of the
yeah.
verses this week, featuring the queens, the true and the
Hmm.
divas in the best sense of the
Royalty.
word.
Yes.
That would be between Patti LaBelle and Miss Patti LaBelle and Miss Gladys Knight. So let's talk about Myra. First of all, how you feeling? How's your foots?
The foot is getting better. It's
All
getting
right.
better and better. So hopefully by this time next week, I'll be boot free. I'll be Frankenstein shoe free.
Yeah.
And I will be skipping with a mask down Peachtree Boulevard.
Another
Yes.
street named Peachtree,
Peachtree. Yes, 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 of course.
and a little musical
That's
accompaniment.
right. Look,
Yes.
ta-da.
Yes, yes, yes,
That's all I got
yes.
for you.
So before we put the newsletter to bed yesterday, came word about the situation in Louisville, Kentucky, in which
Mm-hmm.
the family of Breonna Taylor was able to announce through their attorney, as well as the city of Louisville, that they had come to a civil agreement as a result of the civil lawsuit that they had filed against the city of Louisville in the murder of Breonna Taylor by Louisville police. Without taking any blame in the case, they did not accept any blame. The Louisville police, the city did agree to a $12 million settlement.
Mm-hmm.
And they also came with some agreements and some changes that the city agreed to undertake with the police department. Namely, they are going to still makes more changes in the way that the no knock, or in which these are given, the major reforms about the processing of and execution of search warrants.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they have Breonna's law, but they are continuing to fight about the changes that must take place. The hiring of a team of social workers to accompany police officers on some of these cases, some of the calls that they are scheduled to go out on, as well as a call for the police officials, the members of the police department, to live in the city of Louisville. Now, this is something that a lot of us know about.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you live in New York City, or I'm not sure about Atlanta, Myra, but I know there's a lot of discussion about Chicago and other cities, and getting the police department members who work for the city, people who work for the city, to live in that city and not be able to take your business elsewhere, as it were. You're living outside in the suburbs, and so that was a real big
I
thing, part of it.
I actually think that's very important. In addition, I think it would be great if, as part of their job as police officers, I don't care if it's 2 hours a month, 4 hours a month, you have whatever area you patrol for 1 hour a week or something. You have to work at some community agency. We need to get the community and the police officers together. The police officers cannot just sit back in their patrol cars thinking these are our streets, we control the streets, and they only see, oh yeah, that's so and so who hang out on the corner. That's so and so who's over there. That's so and so. No, once you really get to know these people
Yeah.
on a first name basis, yeah, that's so and so. He's in his second year of college. That's so and so. His mama is battling cancer. That's so and so. She's a single mom with 3 kids. So and in reverse, we also know this is so and so officer, blah 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 blah. He has a small child that has physical disabilities. We have to stop this big wall that is built up, and I really really think that should be a part of of their job. So if they work 40 hours a week, then 5 hours a week needs to be in the community outside of that car.
Yeah, yeah.
Period.
There used to be efforts where they would have, and I think that things have become so dangerous for the police on the streets. There used to be a thing about them, of their 8 hour day, like 1 hour had to be spent walking their beat, or in
Mm-hmm.
some cases
Mm-hmm.
having cops who are riding their bikes, or
Mm-hmm.
what have you. I'm not sure where that is anymore in most of the cities in this country, but also a lot of the cops, by becoming involved, by walking the streets, by engaging with the store owners and the
Yeah.
people who are there. That has also led them to become a part of other things like Little League baseball getting
Exactly.
involved
Exactly.
or
Exactly.
becoming a part of things like that. So
Exactly.
it's definitely and Myra, I like the fact that you are asking us to knock walls down instead of
Building them.
Oh
yes.
yeah. No,
Well,
Lord knows that's
what a
where we are.
concept. Okay.
So,
look, I
Steve, we have had this discussion
yes.
about this case, and a lot of people do agree with you that if they have not come up with charges against these policemen, it's not going to happen in the murder of Breonna
It
Taylor.
shouldn't happen. I've taken the very controversial view among almost all of my friends that they're arresting the police officers would be a horrific thing to do. And what I like to do is jump to the end because when they are acquitted, and they will be acquitted because the no-knock warrant, the firing back from being fired, all of the things are on their side. So if you arrest the cops, you put them through this, and when they are acquitted, it makes the day after the Rodney King verdict look like a day at Disneyland. Full stop. So if for no other reason I want to protect Black lives, I want to protect all lives. Right? And I have no problem saying that because there would be loss of life upon the verdict acquitting these cops. No two ways about it. That said, and I've said this with Sybil, yesterday's victory is the victory that everybody should have been looking for. This is not just a monetary victory, but to your point, Sybil, and to definitely your point, Myra, the fact that they were able to get into this an agreement, some improvements in how the police operate is a big deal. We shouldn't be making a big deal about that. $12 million is our gargantuan sum. It will never bring Breonna back. I don't want to
Right.
pretend like it does. But the win was always going to be in the civil case. It was never going to be in the criminal case because the no-knock warrant, legal. Firing back if fired upon, legal. It sucks, but it's legal. $12 million is gargantuan, and the change in policies and the continuing change and the fact that they're repealing the no-knock warrants, these are all huge victories that will not happen if we keep pressing for the arrest. We will ignore these victories if we keep saying, like, that's nice, but now arrest the cops. Arresting the cops is going to lead to an acquittal. You fight me if you want to, and I don't like that I'm right, but I really believe that I'm right.
I'm fighting you.
And I know. I know. I know.
And I am one of those who is emotional enough and secure in my emotion to say I still want to fight for justice for Breonna. I understand that
Yeah.
this is a huge amount. It is historic, as Ben Crump said, a Black woman receiving this kind of settlement in the loss. And when you think about the other Black women that have been killed and their families have not settled for this kind of money, along with the changes. But I feel like I just want, and damn it, you know what? I feel that, and who cares about what I feel? But this is it now.
I do, Sybil.
I'm
But you know
in
that.
there.
I do. I do.
Thank you. But this is so symbolic of all of the injustices that have been done upon these people.
Agreed. But I guess my thing is everybody wants.
Let me just say this:
Yeah.
I can't get past the emotional aspect, and I agree with you. You're going to be saving a lot of lives if these men are charged and then acquitted. I'm with you on that, but that's left brain, right brain. You know what I mean?
I do. I do.
And I think about this girl's mother, and I know that there's a lot of good that can come from this, just the civil lawsuit alone.
Right.
But I want, this sounds really petty, I want those sons of guns to pay.
But it's not the
Yeah.
police. No, wait, but it's the system. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why this is the victory. The fact that they have fused into this thing a change in policing. It's
Yeah.
not the police individuals. I'm sorry. I'll go. It is not. It is the failure of the judge who signed the warrant that shouldn't have been
Right.
signed. It's the failure of the police department who didn't know the guy had already been caught.
Right.
The police
True.
officers are simply a part of this. They are not. While they did the shooting, the whole system failed everyone before that moment. So the fact that this civil agreement addresses the system
Yeah.
is the victory. We as human beings want to be able to say, like, oh, it's that person's fault. That's the person who did it. That's
Yeah.
the group of people. And unfortunately, this just isn't it. It's a system that failed Breonna Taylor. And the great thing about the civil lawsuit is that it's not just money. If it had been just money, it would have been great. But what it is they made them infuse necessary changes in the community. So I'd love to be able to point it on Dexter too. It's Dexter's fault, but it ain't Dexter's fault. It's the system's fault, and they're addressing it.
I agree with you. The system does need to be changed. But in addition to that, I still believe the officers who made that decision and wrote up a little questionable police report as to how it went down
Oh yeah,
still need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
And that's why it, when I used to live in Los Angeles, and the sheriff's name, was it Gates? I think it
Daryl
was.
Gates, yeah.
Daryl Gates.
Daryl Gates,
Yes,
Daryl Gates.
yes. And we had the Batarang. The Batarang, man, that Batarang would come down the street at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning and would literally, for people who don't know, it was a big tank, literally, with this huge metal ram piece in the front of it. And they would just literally batter your door down and come through your door with a tank. I cannot tell you how many times they had the wrong freaking house.
Yeah.
So to me, that can't, the officers was just doing their job because it was the system. Yes, it was. But your ass was driving that tank. Y'all went to the wrong damn house. Everybody needs to be held accountable.
That's the point.
Period.
That's a system.
So
But that's not a personal thing. If the police get told to go to the wrong house, you can't hold the police at fault. They got told to go to the wrong house. It's not the policeman's fault. That's kind of my point. It's
somebody
should have
double checked it.
Right.
You should have double checked it.
I agree, but that's not the police's. It's not the people who actually knocks fault. That's exactly my point. It's a system that is. And again, look, I am writing this civil victory as the total and complete victory it is. That's not just monetary, but attacks the system. We talked about system.
Yeah.
We talked about systemic and systematic problems. Well, this gets at the systematic problems. Like
right.
It does. And
Right,
so,
right. No, not arguing. Not arguing at all with that. Not at all.
Let me ask you this, Steve. Have you had a conversation with your friend, the activist Tamika Mallory, who has been on the ground seeking justice for Breonna?
not since our conversation. Not since we had ours on the show.
Because I would really like to talk to her and get her perspective on this, because she is a woman who thinks clearly, but she is also, as I said, she's been on the ground and has been emotionally connected to this family and to what has been going on in Louisville these many months.
I would not be
since Breonna
surprised.
Taylor's
I would not
story
be
came out.
surprised if she and others like her were behind the additional
Right.
parts of the deal other than the money, right? The things that attack the system.
Right.
It would.
Right.
I would almost bet, given some information that I have, that she is involved. I haven't talked to her directly, so I can't say that. I guess I know, but from people I have talked to,
And
it
I would
not
agree
surprise me.
just from the press conference in which she spoke yesterday,
Yeah.
and that she did play a part in installing those changes that are
Really?
hopefully going to change the system. I just
When something horrible happens and you can't change the past, all you can do is make the future better.
Yeah.
And this settlement, I mean, unprecedented amount of, not maybe an unprecedented, but a historic amount of money and systemic changes. It's the thing we talk about needing to have happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can't rejoice at this victory, but we need to acknowledge this as a victory
Oh yeah.
from what happened, and then do this elsewhere. Right? This is the thing. You take this and spread.
because
I hope.
like we always say, the thing that breaks my heart is that and as they always say it, and I've said this for years, and I'm not the first to say it, obviously, but no parent should bury their child.
Never.
But if, as my mother used to say, let me not have lived my life in vain. And so her situation
Yes.
can bring about some systemic changes as well, and not just in Louisville. Hopefully this will be the impetus for other cities to see what can be done before other Breonnas, other George Floyds, other Sandra Blands
Yes.
are taken from their parents and from their mothers and fathers. So it's just it just breaks my heart. But you
Okay.
know what? People are still fighting because did you see the Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton wearing the arrest the policeman who
Yes.
killed Breonna
Oh
Taylor?
yeah. Yeah.
No.
He
Yeah,
was there.
he has, as I said, Formula One racing champion Lewis Hamilton, and really handsome gentleman too. He was there with his crew, and this I think it was on Instagram, but he had a T-shirt said "Arrest the policeman that killed Breonna Taylor," and his two crew members, both white guys, they appeared to be, was standing on each side. And so one of them is standing there in his shirt and it says "in racism." The other one on the other side, the shirt also said "in racism." But this guy is standing like this with his head down and like stuff covering him. I was like, how really committed is he to this particular moment of,
Maybe he had another rally to attend after that. I got somewhere to be at 9:30.
Didn't want to
I'm
mess
about
up his
flip
hair
this
for the
shirt,
hood.
okay?
So it was just really funny, but people are still on the case. And another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, this was in the newsletter yesterday, but about the situation in, and I was just talking with DL Hughley about this, is the situation in Florida where the ex-felons fought to get on the ballot to have their voting rights restored, right? This was in 2018. And they were given, 5 million people voted in favor of restoring the voting rights to the former felons, with the exceptions of murderers and sex offenders. Okay. So the Republicans got really upset about this, and within a very short period of time, because the vote was taken in November, they took a long time to count the votes on that, and then within short order, the Republican state legislature put together a bill saying that they had to pay all of their debts, all of their court costs and fines and other restitutions before they could get that right to vote. This went through several levels of the court system. There was even a petition submitted to the United States Supreme Court, and the conservatives said no, they did not want to deal with this. The liberals said, this is what we're calling is voter disenfranchisement. Plain and simple. It is voter suppression.
It's like a poll tax.
Right. And that's exactly it, Myra. This poll tax that they have now instituted. And so it went to an appellate court out of the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals and in Atlanta. And they determined the other day that this law can stand. So now, of course, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And so there is a fund for people who would like to donate to these men and women who will have to pay this. And it's like $6 million that they need altogether to get these people to vote, get these people to have their court costs paid. Now, this is what the people are doing. They've raised over $4 million.
Oh, cool.
And I would just, you know what? I just wish that I had the money. And I'm not just saying that. I just wish that, we could all help these people, to get this and to get it in short order so that maybe we can get them all registered to vote. And how great of a look would that be in the state of Florida?
Yes.
Where they have a resident who lives in the White House.
Nice.
And showing these people what that means and what that looks like to have a collective effort to change the system.
Wait a minute, just hit me.
Yes, and then after they vote, I want them to run right past Mar-a-Lago with some pots and pans and whistles, talking about, we voted.
Wait a minute.
We voted, people.
Right.
You dumbass.
Didn't you said?
I tried not to curse, but
I thought. Didn't you say that? How can the president vote? You said no sex offenders, right? Like I thought you. What, is
Well,
it?
he has not. He has not gone to prison for this.
Oh, convicted. Right, right, right,
These
right,
are
right, right,
people
right, right.
who are, yeah, yeah,
Right. Not people who actually did it. People who got
right,
falsely set up and framed,
exactly,
like many black
exactly.
men. Oh, right, 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 right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, like
right.
black men are. Yes,
Right,
exactly,
right, right, right,
exactly.
right, right, right. Got it. Okay, so the president can vote. Got it. Good. Hey,
So,
so this voting thing is like it's easier. It's either. I mean, I'm stunned by this. I got to admit because if you're over 18, voting is either black and white. You either can or you can't. Right. If
yeah,
the law is that felons can't vote, then that's the law. But you can't. To both your point, a poll tax. You can
Right,
either vote or you can't vote. Like one of the
Jim
right.
two.
Crow
Has
is
everybody?
gone,
Does
but
that
it
mean
lives
right?
in states like this.
There's
Yeah,
plenty
So
of people who weren't convicted. Do they have to pay their court costs before they can go?
exactly,
Does everyone have to
exactly.
pay court costs, or just people
No,
who were
no,
felons?
yeah.
No,
no. Just this
challenge,
particular group
challenge.
of people. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's some straight BS, and they know it. But it's stank behind.
And
But
I dare say,
can I just
of course.
just pulling the show aside just for one quick second when I said stank behind. Can I just give a quick shout out to
To
the
some stank
woman?
behind.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name, Alicia Black, who at
Oh, the professor.
yes, sister girl. When I tell you she checked him yesterday when
Oh,
she
it's
was
town
trying
hall.
to ask
Yeah,
her a
yeah.
question and he went to interrupt her and she was like, excuse me,
Excuse me,
excuse me, you need
please,
to,
sir.
I need some of this here because I have
You're
not
doing a
finished
lot of this, and I need
I need some of
this.
this, okay? Because I have not finished my question
Right.
for you,
Yeah.
sister, for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Woo!
we talk about that in tomorrow's newsletter. So good
Oh,
for
okay, I won't
bringing
say
that
anything
up.
else.
So no, but here's the thing. She is a college professor, and as she said, she is, she went through her qualifications and doing all of these things academically, despite having a lifelong fight against sarcoidosis. And this was at the town hall held in Philadelphia last night on ABC with George Stephanopoulos. And so this is the professor. And she said, and as you said, Alicia Black, an African American woman living with sarcoidosis, and she asked Donald Trump what he's going to do about people like her with pre-existing conditions as his administration is challenging Obamacare in court without having presented a replacement health care plan. And as he tried to interject, she said, "Please stop and let me continue my question, sir." She didn't do this, although I would love for her to have done that. And so there were a lot of people. There was a black minister, who was asking about how you feel that, what kind of tone deafness are
Yes,
you
yes.
exhibiting by having the slogan "Make America Great Again"?
You know, African Americans, my African Americans, the
Yeah,
African Americans have jobs. That's like his go-to phrase.
yeah, it
And
always
and
is.
I want someone to say, we already know about the African Americans and the job number. What else you got?
Yeah,
What else you
and
got?
how about that job number now, in relation to the pandemic? That you said you knew how dangerous it was, and then last night said that you did not downplay it. Did not downplay it. You upplayed it.
I upplayed it.
Upplayed it.
I upplayed
See
it.
how that works?
I
See how
didn't
that works?
downplay it.
I
I
I
upplayed
said
it.
upplayed it.
down, but now I'm saying up.
Oh, that's right.
And you
That's
see what he
right.
did there? So it was very interesting.
I just said it, so it was true. That's how I do. That's how I president. Ow. Ow.
What kind of light is that? It's a gas light, okay?
What? It's no gas. What are you talking about? Oh.
It's a gas light. Yes, it is.
If I can go back to the felon story and this fundraiser that they have done, as of Tuesday, almost 4 million of the 6.1 million has been raised. And if you would like to get in on this and to perhaps make a donation yourself, go to We Got the Vote, all one word, wegotthevote.org.
And do this. Everybody who's watching, do this. Go out buy yourself 10 lottery tickets and then promise if you win any of those 10 lottery tickets, you will donate to this. I promise you, I'm
That's a
going to do
great
that.
idea.
I mean,
Okay.
you may win, you may not, but if you do, like it might happen. I'm always hopeful. So the $10 tickets, if you
Okay,
win,
so
just
just
make sure
keeping it
part of that
real.
goes there.
So I'm just saying, if okay, I will donate. It's kind of like a tithe thing. So let's just say, because if
Oh,
I
you want to do
win, like,
10%?
You want to do
yeah,
10%?
can I do 10%? Okay, all right.
Yes.
And then perhaps send another 10, 20, 30%.
Okay, I'll even do 20%
But
because I'm a little behind in my tithes.
I got a
Yeah.
church for you to donate to in Atlanta, Myra. So we're good.
Saint Mattress. Yep.
Sorry, cousin Joe. She didn't mean that.
Yep.
No, that's
Yeah.
the Lord's house there. This this is social. This is Sickle Cell Anemia Awareness Month. And our good friend Arika Kaysen is a
Oh, yeah.
is a person who has been fighting against sickle cell anemia all of her life, and she has done it with such grace and such dexterity in a very busy life. And so she talked about this in a piece that she wrote for the newsletter for today, and we want to thank her. As she says, it's difficult enough being a married mom, twin tweens.
Tweens. Yeah, the
Tweens.
tweens.
Yes. And a busy job. And then you have the coronavirus on top of that. And in a very stressful time, how do you deal with it with an illness that a lot of it has to do with managing your stress levels? And so she just wrote beautifully and talked about this and headlined it Black Lives Matter, Black Health Matters, and just want to put forth again how important it is that we take care of our health as well as the health of others in our homes and in our families and communities, in talking about this. And so to all those who are fighting the good fight in this month as we raise awareness about sickle cell anemia, and of course within the Black community, a lot of folks, that there are others of color who also have this fight that don't look like you and me, but we want to wish them all the success in the world as they fight this. So, and thank you for sharing your story, Erica. I love you so much and appreciate you. Okay, so coronavirus and politics just kind of go like this, not just like this, but like this. And so the Democratic lawmakers launching an investigation into allegations that political appointees at the Department of Health and Human Services are attempting to alter weekly coronavirus pandemic scientific reports issued by the CDC.
What? Clutch the pearls.
And this is ready for this, the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Reports, written by career scientists, read by medical workers, epidemiologists, scientists, and researchers who rely on the reports. But how can they rely on the reports if they are not given the truth?
Right.
And how
If
can
they're
we
not
fight this
accurate.
disease if we don't have the best information and accurate information available? This is just
So
boggles the mind.
shortly before we got on tonight, President Trump had a press conference. Who's the head dude from the CDC testified in front of Congress today.
Yeah.
And he said, and I'm putting in a caps on what he said. It was something around wearing a mask, and he held up a mask. If everybody wears a mask, it will be as effective, if not more effective, than a vaccine. This is what the head guy from the CD says to Congress.
Okay.
Trump had a press conference shortly before this time that we're on right now live. Somebody asked him about that. He said, I talked to him about that. I had a conversation, and he misunderstood the question. Vaccine, we're ready to roll out the vaccine. Vaccine's going to be dope. Vaccines, forget the mask.
Did he say the vaccine's going to be dope?
No, he said vaccine. Yo, if Trump can lie, so can I. Trump said vaccines gonna be super dope. Yo, don't worry about it. Just like get yourself, put your alcohol on your arm right now. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Put your alcohol on your arm right now. Go ahead. It's gonna be good. But forget the mask. Mask, no. He misunderstood the question. That's not what he meant. And everybody was like, huh? What? Huh? It's like, no, that's not what he meant. And then who is this new fool? Who's the new fool? Who's the new fool? Who's Scott Atlas? Who's the new fool? Scott Atlas. The White House coronavirus consultant or whatever it is.
Well, they want to call him a czar, but they can't. They can't go that far.
I prefer to call him. I prefer to call him fake Fauci, right? So fake Fauci gets up there, and all he is, it's clear from the first time he opens his mouth. Oh, you are a trumpet. I mean, a trumpet. I mean, that's what I call a Trump puppet. A Trump puppet is a trumpet.
Trumpeteers.
It's a trumpet. It's insane that the media, once he uses the word the media, I'm like, all your credibility is gone. You are trumpet. And it's crazy. The media positions this vaccine. It's going to be, I'm like, oh my gosh, bring back the real Fauci. This fake Fauci is horrible. I love Stanford University, but he's from Stanford and he sucks. He sucks.
And these people, they're not scientists. They're not I can't even say it, epidemiologists. Those people with the long names.
Mm-hmm.
That thing.
They have no medical background, but yet they want to come. Somebody said on something, these were the people who were probably still eating paste last week, you know. and you want to sit up here and listen to these people who are going to argue with facts. Right. They want to argue with science. Yeah. Why would you listen to them? It is so obvious that this whole rushing the vaccine is all about the election. Yeah. Period. Exclamation point.
There are human beings who are dying because people on both sides are posturing for the election. Mm-hmm. That's just the truth. Mm-hmm. That's just you can't get around it. You've got a president who's dismissing scientists. He literally today, CDC in front of Congress said, nope, that's not right. Masks aren't better than a vaccine.
This is Robert Redfield that you're referring to. And God bless him.
CDC dude?
Yeah, the CDC dude, who is like...
but I did not know that I thought Robert Redford was still acting. He's not acting anymore? Oh, that's different. That's very different. That's very, very different. That's very different.
But you know what? It might as well be Robert Redford for all of the posturing and acting he had to do.
It's an indecent proposal.
Myra! A movie starring Myra J.
And Miss Dupree, that's right.
Hey now.
In Indecent Proposal. That's right. So between this guy and then the discussion and God, and I almost just was just yearning for the day of poor Dr. Birx sitting there, just kind of rocking back and forth in it is knowing that she knew what was being said was a bunch of baloney. But these guys are, like you said, Myra, they're eating the paste, they're drinking the Kool-Aid, all of that stuff.
I want to sit down with Dr. Birx and let me and her just do a couple of shots of Patron right before that conference. Because she got a scarf and she sits there all prim and proper, and I have no doubt that she is a very smart woman and that she has the facts. But it's like you can almost read her mind, like, I can't say anything, I shouldn't say anything, I shouldn't go. I need for her to come out there, snatch that scarf off, have on a pair of flip-flops, and basically just come with let me tell y'all one thing. I need for her to push somebody out the way and grab the mic and go, here's the real deal. Just one time. I don't care if she get fired. I'll pay her rent for a day. But the thing is, I just would really like for her to really be honest. You can see her in pain. She's nervous. She's wiggling. She looks so uncomfortable when they get up there and spew those lies, just lies after lies. And I'm like, girl, just let it out.
She hasn't been right.
They ain't gonna like you anyway. They talk about you anyway.
She has not been right. I can tell you the last moment. I can tell you Dr. Birx's last moment. Dr. Birx's last moment was like, can we talk about the heat and the light? The light and the heat.
The bleach.
No, the heat and the light. She sat back on that bench. She was like, oh, I gave up.
She went around.
Why am I here? What is this?
Right.
And she had kind of had to nod like, yeah, oh, this is gonna be horrible for my credibility. Help me.
Did I
The
pay?
heat and the light.
Just tell me, did my last 401k payment?
Right.
And now they got fake Fauci.
Somebody-
Fake Fauci is just going to rubber stamp everything that Trump says. It's astonishing to watch, to go from who we had as a medical professional, who we really believed, who the country believed in, to have the new White House coronavirus. I forget what the noun is, but he obviously, this new guy, Scott Atlas, is the guy, and it's like, I'm so troubled that America can't see it. I'm so troubled. I'm so troubled. I'm so sorry. It really affected me today because it was just a sea change from at least a small amount with Birx and Fauci credibility on that stage to everybody. I mean, everybody just like sipping the rear water of our president. I don't know why that. All right. Anyhow, I'm so sorry. That's what came to mind.
We used to call this in morning radio. We used to say breakfast rule. Now it's dinner rule.
Dinner rule.
I dare say. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Deborah Birx if we ever see her again. But certainly, like if they were to if she and Fauci were to hold a press conference on November 2nd, I would just love that. I would just absolutely love that. As they move on to their next assignments.
Well, I would like for them to do it now because people are early voting. Yeah. You know, people can start to early vote. So we really, we need to have them do that F it tour. Like, you know, we know we fired, so F it. Here we come with the truth.
The F it tour.
Yeah.
You have given somebody an idea, Myra.
Yep, the F
Cardi
tour.
B is on it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a little busy right now.
Yeah. So this is the coronavirus update that you can find every day in the What You Need to Know newsletter. And of course, while Donald Trump was in Philadelphia yesterday, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, they are feeling the effects of another fatal police shooting of a mentally challenged person. This is the story of Ricardo Munoz, a mentally ill man at the age of 27. His sister, he was having an issue with his sister, and he went to her house. She called police, and they fatally wounded him. He was killed. And this launched a bunch of protests on the streets of Lancaster and erupted Sunday after the shooting. And the people gathering outside the police station, several warnings were given to disperse the protesters before the chemical agents were released on the crowd. And officials added that the county-owned vehicle was damaged in doors and windows and what have you. And in the midst of this, as authorities responded to the call from his sister, said her brother became aggressive and was trying to force his way into her home. But they are getting their video from edited body cam video from the
edited.
Police.
That's a key.
Why is it edited?
Edited body cam from the police, and said that he was wielding a knife, chased the retreating officer before he was shot multiple times and killed. Edited body cam. And so that is also something, you guys, and I don't know how we could stop that in making the rules and changing some of the procedures in the police department. But whereas with the police in Louisville, I believe one police officer had a body cam on him, but it was not working. They had body cam video, but it had been edited. How do you stop them from going back to the station house and changing the way this is immediately? Does it go into a system so that they cannot have access to it?
Well, I thought that was how it went, actually. That's what I thought the procedure was. When you go back to the station, you go back and put it into a system where the police officer can. So that what that tells me, if I'm correct, is that there's a higher up who edited this footage. Now, I haven't seen the footage. Is it clear that it's edited? Because if so, there is the rough footage, and they're not going to say they lost the rough footage. That can't happen. I mean, kind of. Technically, that really wouldn't happen simply because you've uploaded all of the footage in.
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to.
And if you have a
Yeah.
redundant system, which I'm sure that they do, it's going to exist at least on one system somewhere.
Somebody's got to have that.
Right.
Somebody's got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But once again, to piggyback on what was said earlier, this is when your mental health people
Yeah.
and your social workers come in to accompany police in situations like that. When you know ahead of time you are dealing with someone who is mentally unstable, you just don't come out with guns a-blazing. There needs to be other alternatives to deal with the situation.
Sharon Diane on our YouTube questions asked a great question. Is it possible when a person has a mental health illness, can we just call the ambulance and not the cops? Is that a possibility, or does 911 just go to the cops, or is there a number where you can just call an ambulance and the cops? That's a great question, Sharon. Great question.
Well, here's the other
don't know.
thing. A lot of people are concerned about the cost of having an ambulance come to their home because that can cost hundreds of dollars. And so immediately that's what, oh, don't call the ambulance. Let's just get them in the car and take them. That's a part of it. And perhaps, efforts can be made in order to eliminate that ridiculous fee, because it's no longer, you just call the ambulance and they take you. They're going to send you a bill. And by calling the police department, and then perhaps the ambulance comes with, but there's still going to be a cost that is paid in a number of towns. I'm not sure every town, but definitely.
And the truth is, we should be able to call our policemen to handle that situation without violence erupting, right? We should. I know, but the point is, we should be able to call 911 and trust that the people who show up are going to continue to protect and serve as opposed to harm.
Right. Yeah. I remember, and I think it was because of the name of the woman that was killed, but this happened in Chicago, and it was like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve day, and there was a family in Chicago, and they called the police because their son, who may have been bipolar or had some sort of mental challenge, and they called the police to take care of him, to handle him, and in the midst of it, a neighbor also called the police because there was so much going on in the neighboring apartment with this boy. And so as they were going back and forth and trying to get this kid out, they drew their guns, and in the midst of this, somebody shot errantly into this woman's apartment, and she was killed, as well as the boy who was having the mental issue. And it just struck me, and the woman's name was Betty, and that was my mom's name, and so that just always stayed with me, because that's something that Bettys do. That they call because they're concerned about somebody hanging around on the corner, or the family having issues and things. And as they pushed her back in the apartment, somebody's gun went off, and there are always all of these things that are going on, and this really could have been avoided. All of these situations, especially with the mentally challenged people, all of these things with Elijah McClain, you name it. This kid in Chicago years ago, these could have been avoided if I believe if they had, as you said, Myra, the mental health care officials with them and on their team, and it just could have made a world of difference. So, enough of this. I want to get your takes on, and I waited for you, Stephen Hill, today, and Myra, because both of you know the women that were the subject of the most fun verses ever, and one that really joined the generations, I dare say, the verses with Miss Patti LaBelle and Miss Gladys Knight. Stephen Hill, you had a packed show before and after the shows, and Myra J, I'm thinking you probably have watched it a couple of times. So Myra, what do you think? What did you think about it?
I absolutely loved it. I don't even like to call it verses.
Right.
I called it and. It was Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle. and Dionne Warwick.
Yeah.
Literally, when
Yeah.
Dionne Warwick walked, I jumped off the couch and screamed like a burglar came in the house. I just screamed at the top of my lungs. I was so excited. But these women, talented, classy, so many hits, brought back so many memories, and you could just see the camaraderie, and they owned the moment. They owned their their legacy. They, like they weren't trying to be young. They were sitting down when they would feel it. Gladys said, "Girl, look, I can't sit down and hit this note. I got to get up and I'm gonna hit it, then I'm gonna sit back down, But it was just absolutely wonderful, and I felt like it was my summer concert for the year, since we can't go to no real concerts.
Right. And knowing
Yeah.
how you love to go to the concerts and will be
You
there in a
know
heartbeat.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So Stephen Hill, you being the music maestro and College of Musical Knowledge, and all things verses especially, what did you think?
I thought it was spectacularly done. It was, usually I have a pre-show. For those who don't know, I have a pre-show with my friend Steve Hammond
The
called the
Steves.
Steves, and we treat it like it's going to be an athletic event, right? We talk about the strengths and weaknesses and how it might sewn up, and then at the post-show we talk about how it was. And we usually rate the songs versus each other because that's the way it was set up. We this is the first time we just abandoned scoring because it was just sit back and enjoy these two queens. And I think I said something
And real
there.
queens this time.
Yeah, oh, 100%. And
Yeah.
I said something during that show, which I'll repeat
Real
here, is
royalty.
that one of the things I'm really hoping is that in 30 years or 35 years, what it is, this is exactly what Brandy and Monica is, right? So social media and television made their feud seem more than it was. And I'm sure everybody talks about how competitive Motown was and how, so there was probably some competition between two very, very fiery singers.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was friendly competition, and so, but to have them now, like just enjoying themselves and supporting each other and singing each other's background music, I think it was that sense of camaraderie that really got to me. I mean, it's funny that the music was brilliant, but it was kind of the second player to me to seeing Black women, especially after we just saw Brandy and Monica, and how even still a little tense that was at times. There's hope that they'll see that and go like, this is what we're aiming for. Like we share this legacy. There's no reason to fall into people's negative desires to fight for it. Let's share the legacy. And what you saw on Versus was a lot of awesome shared legacy and enjoying of each other's art. And I just thought it felt so great.
Wasn't it good? It was so good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you think this could have been done with Patti LaBelle and Aretha Franklin?
No. Riri didn't play that. No. Absolutely not. Riri would have been like, if you don't sit your ass down, it's my song. Okay? And I'm going to sing about 6 hits in a row, and then you come in, okay?
Could she sit on stage even?
Now,
Probably
what I've
not.
loved to have seen. So first of all, if we're going to be honest, Aretha's catalog kind of runs away with it.
Yeah.
Aretha's catalog kind of runs away with it.
Kinda, yeah.
But wouldn't we love to see I'm kind of countering what I just said just for entertainment, but like,
Don't you say the cattiness, no.
I didn't say cattiness.
I thought it.
I did not say the cattiness. I
What?
said the pattiness.
Yeah, right. Right.
No. It would have been fun. No, because Aretha couldn't have played it. Could have played like
No.
Patti and Aretha would have been fun to watch only because shoes may have been flying off for a different reason. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
And then Miss Gladys Knight would have come in and said, "Ladies."
Yes,
That's right.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
And you know what I thought was so funny? Patti would get in that. Gladys is singing. Patti checking herself out in the mirror. Gladys is like, I've known this woman for over 50 years. I ain't studying her ass. I'm going to stand up here and sing my song and act like I don't see this woman.
And
over
I'm
here
going
tripping.
Michelle Obama. I'm
Yes,
going Michelle
yes.
Obama.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
When she did it once, I said, okay,
Right.
well, maybe it was something
I thought
that
maybe it was
she
a
wasn't quite
contact
sure.
or something.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But then she kept doing it. I was like, okay, this is Patti just checking herself.
Yeah.
And we all have friends. Nobody's perfect. And we all have that one friend we just ignore their ass and talk about, that's just the way she is. That's all a part of the package. And I'm sure Gladys was like, okay, that's Patti over there.
That's my
being Patti.
girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. That's. But I was happy when she kicked them shoes off. I was like,
Now
I've
we're
seen
Yes.
I've seen Patti.
Yeah.
Now I've seen Patti. When she kicked them shoes. It was excellent. It was
so too.
excellent.
It really was.
Except they didn't sing "I Don't Do Duets" at the end, which I
thought would have been
brought
just,
it up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite songs. And she even asked about it. She said, "Do we have time?" And oh, we don't. And I went, damn.
Make time.
Which I don't understand, by the way. I don't
know.
understand. Like, that's not usually been a timed show.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that maybe, how sometimes artists go like, oh, I can only play one more because they're kicking me off stage.
Right.
Oh, I'd love to stay and do a few more numbers for you, but so it may have just been that. But I do love. By the way, if you have not seen it on, I have no problem saying. If you haven't, watching it on Apple TV is a phenomenal experience visually
Is that right?
orally.
Okay.
However, you've got to do that and keep the comments on Instagram.
Oh,
right?
Wow. Okay.
Because the comments, they haven't gotten the comments right on Apple yet. But the comments, and the visual Instagram is like, well, they use portrait mode. So that's tough. You can't see as much, but the picture's crystal sharp on Apple. But those comments on Instagram, player.
Really?
Oh, that's half the show. That's half the show right there.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you.
Let me confess to you, Stephen Hill, real quick. So I pulled it up on my iPad, and as I'm watching it, I see other people posting pictures on Facebook, and they're watching it on their TV. And I'm like, I can watch it on TV? I have a smart TV. Well, I'm not real technical, y'all. I spent the whole damn show trying to pull it up on my smart TV. But I did pull up Instagram, and the comments were coming, but I didn't get the visual. But I did have Apple TV on the iPads, so I had both. But I kept having to do this.
That's a difficulty too.
Yeah.
You know what? For whatever we may say about our millennials and all of that stuff, but God knows they know technical stuff. They just know. And yes, we will be forever beholden.
But can they make hot water cornbread? Okay, so
what
I'm not gonna feel bad.
Hot water cornbread.
I was unaware there was such a thing. I was unaware.
Oh God.
That was.
Hey, you guys.
Everybody hit Sybil up and let her know about the hot water cornbread.
I know about corn water hot bread. Is that the same thing or different?
I think that was a group from the 70s.
That is very true. Afro down.
Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you.
One real quick thing.
Yes.
I read an article today. When it comes to the census, it said Georgia ranks 47th in the response. Georgia, we've got to do better. Please complete the census. And happy birthday to my grandbaby Akila. That's it.
Akila is how old?
Yeah, 24.
Shut the front door. Okay, gotta go.
She would have to get a new grandmama because I can't have it. I'm signing off as grandma now.
And happy 16th birthday to Anaya. She is 16 today, and Ali White is 17. So happy birthday to you guys.
Merry birthday,
and
indeed.
I was going to say one more thing. Oh, Stephen Hill. I loved the Kim show Saturday night.
Oh, thank you very much.
Heart and Soul, Heart to Heart with Stephen Hill. I absolutely loved the interview. Who do you have coming up this week?
So I believe it's Phil Downing. I mean, I think it's Will Downing. Yo, I'm like, it's Phil Donahue. I got Phil Donahue this week. It's crazy. Oh my God.
Phil and Marlowe, hopefully. Yes.
He did his whole Benjamin Buttons thing where his hair went from gray to like, it's like slick brown now. That's crazy. Oh my God. No. Will Downing, my man. It's either Will Downing or Kevin Ross is this week. So I'm over the next 2 weeks. So that's going to be fantastic. Sirius XM, channel 48, 11 o'clock on Saturday.
10 o'clock
EST.
Central, and 8
Yeah.
o'clock where his nephews are.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I hope to see you here next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
See you next week.
Yep.
And also check out the podcast from Ha-Has to Ahas with Sybil Wilkes and Stephen Hill. I will see you guys. I'll see you in a minute, Steve and
Yes.
Myra. Thank you as always. And tomorrow, George Wallace will be here
Thank
with
you,
us,
everyone.
Dr. George Wallace. And don't forget to
Wallace.
watch J. Anthony Brown's TV show tonight, Assisted Living, which is a true story. Okay, see you guys later. Be careful.
Peace out.
Bye-bye. Take care. Vote. Wash your hands. Do the